don't give a shit about Mark Levin or Ted Cruz or whatever, whoever, or somebody named that has the name Turd in their name, or some Israeli spy named Laura Loomer. I don't care about any of these people. They are irrelevant and mean nothing to me. It's nonstop. Israel, nonstop. And that seems to be the overarching theme.
Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene just took aim at the Israel first mentality, and in this clip explain why the priorities of Israel are risen by the ruling class above those of the United States. They claim that America first isn't Israel first, and Israel first isn't America first. So let's get right into this. It's going to be interesting. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
The radicalizing moment for me, I think, was in June with the utterly pointless bombing of Iran. And I remember thinking, how many Americans have been killed by Haitians in the last 20 years versus how many have been killed by Iranians? I don't think in this country, I don't think we've had any Americans killed by Iranians. We've had a lot of Americans killed by Haitians, a lot. And yet Haitians get special protected status, but we're bombing Iran. And I just felt like that would be the kind of America first way to think about it. You know, let's create a hierarchy of threats, and let's just start with the death toll. And no Americans have been killed on American soil by Iran, you know, in my memory. So I'm not saying Iran is great. I'm not endorsing Iran, but I'm saying from an American perspective, that's not even in the top 25 list of threats to us. So all these Republicans I kind of expected to say, I mean, Mike Johnson is a completely corrupt person, but not Mike Johnson, but like people with souls in the legislative bodies, I expected someone to stand up and say that, and they all went along with it. And they cheered it. Like, what was that? They didn't mean anything, they said.
Exactly. Honestly, what was that? I laughed so hard because I was like, you know, Fox News and everyone tells me that Houthis are the most dangerous human beings on the planet. And I literally can't find a single Houthi in my district. I can't find them at Waffle House.
Well, can I just say, we are now, since we bombed the Houthis, consistent with American history over the past 70 years, we're going to import a lot of Houthis. Just if we've imported a ton of Afghans and Iraqis, and, you know, every country we bomb then gets to move here under.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that does seem to be what seems to happen. There's precedent for that. The Houthis being Ansar Allah, the ruling regime of Yemen. They are the allies of Iran. That's why the U.S. bombed them. But in the initial stages, it got involved because the Saudis wanted the U.S. involved. And Saudi Arabia is one of our two great allies in the Middle East. It's absurd. They've sucked us into wars too. Israel too. And Tucker's right. If you're going to prioritize what countries are more of a threat to the United States, I think you need to look inward first, because the bigger threats to our liberties are coming from 25 agencies within the federal government, not 25 foreign countries. But I'm with them that you wouldn't want to attack Iran. They don't pose a threat to the United States, but nonetheless, the U.S. got sucked into their war, and it's absurd.
Some special protected status. We're gonna have full Houthi neighborhoods in North Georgia very soon. So get psyched for that.
Okay, well, that'll be the first time we see him, and because I don't know what one looks like. I literally have no idea what a Houthi looks like. I've never been to Iran. I don't know why I have to hate them so much, but you know, they've told me over and over again for 30 plus years that they're going to have a nuclear weapon any moment now, and they're going to bomb America and bomb Israel. Still hasn't happened. I was, you know, another thing when we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel, by the way, it was pretty interesting to me that hell was not unleashed like we were told it was going to be. And I didn't see hell be unleashed on Israel. As a matter of fact, the Iron Dome that America funds, it worked. And people in Israel were safe, and people in America were safe. We didn't see a single bomb fall on our heads, on our homes, on our neighborhoods.
This is such a good point, and it's something so missed, and it just completely was a slap in the face to the neocon line of propaganda when they said, hey, Israel is going to be wiped off the map by the Iranians, especially when they were backed into a corner. or no, the Iranians are just going to kill as many Americans as they could in the region. Well, they didn't, and not only didn't they tipped off the sitting U.S. president, who these neocons and Zionists say want to just wipe us all out of the region, wipe us all off the map if they could. And they said, hey, we're going to launch, strikes here as kind of an optics move to placate our populace and not actually kill your soldiers. That's what Iran did, when even forced into the deepest corners of fear and trepidation, when the biggest bullies on the block were breathing down their necks.
We didn't see anything happen here like that has happened to Gaza now for months and months and months. We didn't see children and toddlers being blown to pieces. We didn't hear about these horror stories. We didn't witness it and feel it. But this is a lie that we are constantly told over and over and over again, that we have to hate these people in the Middle East. We have to hate these foreign countries. We have to hate Russia because Hollywood tells us that Russia is the ultimate bad guy. And then we have to be told that, we're going to go to war with Russia. Well, guess what? We've been at war with Russia through Ukraine for years now, and it's absurd. And then the really most disturbing one is, ever since I've been a member of Congress, they've been telling me that we're going to go to war with China, which I find absolutely absurd. And I'm like, why are we going to war with China? Is there any reason for us to go to war with China? But it's a really sick obsession, Tucker, that I think everyone is sick and tired of, is the fact that American people work so hard and pay extremely high taxes for their tax dollars that have to constantly be used to sell weapons and deliver weapons and pay countries to kill people.
Man, amen. I think she is just on fire here. This is such a good point. The fact that the CIA and, the stooge legacy media and our ruling class wants to always drum up foreign threats as the threats to you. But guess who it is? It's actually your own government. The enemy is within the gates. It's the IRS, and it's the FBI, and it's the CIA, and it's the bloated Pentagon budget, being funded for defense. No, it's not defense. It's for empire building, and that's what the U.S. uses it for, not only in Ukraine, but also in the Middle East. So I'm totally with her. They want to drum up Russia and China as threats to you, when it's your own government that takes something like 40% of most people's wealth. It, puts its hands down your pants and shreds the Fourth Amendment at the TSA when it's engaging in illegal searches and seizures. It's blowing up people in your name, financing it through a central bank that's not even constitutional in the first place. Funding it with debt. We just crossed the $38 trillion dollar debt threshold. All of this is just total nonsense, and your enemy is within. It's not without. That's how they divert you from the perversions and violations of liberty that they engage in.
And I can't understand that. And people are so sick and tired of it. And the veterans in my district are sick and tired of it. But for some reason, this is the continuation of what Washington, D.C. does, no matter who's in charge, Democrats or Republicans. And that's why Donald Trump is absolutely 1,000% right in saying no more foreign wars.
Okay, he's right in saying that, but not in doing that, because he just unleashed a new foreign war in Iran. He's flirting with doing the same in Venezuela, a regime change operation where CIA resources are engaged in that. Something that he tried to do in his first term in 2019 when he sent $52 million to Juan Guaido. That's, after he exacerbated wars in both Syria and Yemen, using one of his only presidential vetoes to keep the blockade in Yemen going. So yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's right when she says Trump is right when he says that, but he's not right in his actions, which belie that and contradict that.
No more American tax dollars paying for this blood and murder industry. And that is one of the single reasons I think led to his first election.
Oh, yeah.
And has led to his election.
But we're at a pivot point where the people who cheered on the wars in, name the countries, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, against the Houthis, whoever they are, those people are poised to take over the Republican Party. I thought the whole point of Trump's ascendance was to change the party to make it consistent with what Republican voters, and not just Republican voters, lots of Democrats switched over to vote for Trump because they wanted those 5 pillars. And all of a sudden, the people who've for generations wrecked this country seem on the verge of stealing the MAGA copyright, slapping it on their own polo shirts, and running the Republican Party. I mean, how is this happening?
I have no idea, but it's what they always do. It's what they did in his first term, and now we're watching it unfold again. And
it's exactly right. It's why you see Lindsey Graham and people like Ben Shapiro that were hardcore never Trumpers, you know, Lindsey Graham supporting the Russiagate fraud, for instance, are somehow now so close to Trump, complimenting him, trying to pull him in their neocon direction, acting like, hey, you're on our side, you're not on these non-interventionist sides, and Trump being successfully duped by those maneuvers after campaigning against the neocons, after raking Liz Cheney over the coals for campaigning with Kamala Harris. That's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing his ear being won over by the people that he rightly criticized in his run-up to his re-election, the people like Pompeo, who lied to him about troop presence. Some of his generals did that. The people who tried to assassinate Julian Assange and get us deeper involved into Syria, which worked under Trump, who put boots on the ground there. And we still are occupying something like a third of the territory there. Not we. I don't want to make myself complicit with this criminal government, but the U.S. government is doing that. So yeah, this is exactly what's happening. Trump's being duped by it. And you know, frankly, many of his followers are making just blatant excuses for this. This is 4D chess. This is a way to keep Lindsey Graham close to him. Like, John Bolton's power could be constrained by giving him one of the biggest, you know, powerful responsibilities in government. That is the 4D chess excuse they used. Same thing's happening here, and it's absurd.
Is disgusting, and people are pissed. I'm talking about pissed. Everyone I'm talking to at home is going, hold on now. Why are we considered hateful and anti-Semitic if we don't want to pay for Israel's wars constantly? That doesn't make us anti-Semitic and hateful. We want our money to stay here at home, because you want to know something? People are hurting here at home.
Oh, I know.
Food prices are high, rent is high, home prices are ridiculously high, cars are high, auto insurance, home insurance, health insurance is insane. Energy prices are high. I can tell you that in my own electric bills. They're much more expensive than they were even a year ago. The Democrats destroyed our economy, absolutely murdered us with high inflation, and they're absolute failures for 4 years.
Well, they did, but also Republicans were complicit, because what was the biggest corporate welfare bill of all time? It was the CARES Act, in which I think only 5 Republicans were against in 2020. Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't in office yet, but Thomas Massie was one of those. Guess who got drugged for that then? Thomas Massie. Guess who gets raked over the coals for that now by Trump, for holding, you know, him to his promises of actually being America first and saying, yeah, we should have Doge cuts? It's Thomas Massie. That's why they're so mad at him. So yeah, the inflation took place on that, but it was both parties being complicit in this mad financing operation by the central bank. I'm with her, though. It's a great point she raises, that the Washington establishment is obsessed with this toxic Ukraine first and Israel first attitude, where your money is going to the benefit of bomb makers rather than you. We could use tax relief right now in the face of all this inflation, and even better if the central bank just stopped emitting new currencies. That'd be pretty nice too, but they can't help themselves. They never can, because, you know, Trump just got his big abominable bill passed that adds $5 trillion to the debt. You're going to get that regardless of the party you elect. That's the sad thing.
But here now it should be the focus. The biggest focus from Republicans in Washington, D.C. and the Trump administration, the people that get to have these jobs, Tucker, because people like me worked my ass off and spent millions of dollars fighting to get Donald Trump elected. Well, you know, those people that get to have their hoity-toity jobs in the White House, they should be grateful to people like me. Not and Mark Levin and all these other people. They shouldn't be putting me down. I helped put that man there because I never backed away from him, and I never backed down, and I believe in what he wants to do for this country. But what we have going on right now, I mean, seriously, look at it. It's a revolving door at the White House, a revolving door of foreign leaders and prime ministers and presidents, all with their hands out, demanding money and demanding attention and demanding America do this. I mean, let's take, for example, this $40 billion bailout for Argentina. That's probably one of the grossest things I've ever seen. And I have no idea who is telling our great president, our America First president, that this is a good idea.
Amen. That's what that is. It's a bailout. They're calling it a currency swap in which we buy up all these Argentinian pesos for dollars. But guess what? They have a history of defaulting, and they're going to default. And that's what makes it a bailout. And guess what? I'm not for corporate welfare or foreign aid, no matter what, even if I like the country or the country's leader in question, and I do. I like Javier Milei. He kind of got screwed by the opposition to him and his own government, who overrode 2 of his vetoes and saddled that populace with insane amounts of debt that was indiscriminate from, or indistinguishable from, the former regime, the Kirchners, that ruled Argentina for so long under a political dynasty that was corrupt, and they went down for corruption in their dealings there. That's the case. We still want to maintain an America First mentality. I don't care if you like the sitting government in that country. It makes it no different than the excuses that the Israel First or Zionists make when we need to send so much money to Netanyahu. I say no. No bailouts that, are sold as currency swaps in Argentina. That's absurd.
Because it's a punch in the gut to all of our American cattle ranchers, and they are furious, and rightfully so. And at the same time, I can't think of another country that's further away from the United States of America than Argentina. It's literally at the bottom of South America in the Southern Hemisphere, and we're all the way up here at the top. I don't know how that's America First. But the problem, Tucker, is it's Washington, D.C. is unchangeable, absolutely unchangeable. And they have hijacked our movement, and they're taking it away from the campaign promises of America First and turning it into everything that we hate. We hate globalism. We hate bailing out foreign countries. We hate foreign wars. We hate industries overseas. We want industries supported here at home. And you got people talking about it. People are not silent anymore.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I would be less complimentary toward Trump than she is, but I think her doing that actually keeps her more unscathed than Thomas Massie, who does criticize Trump, and I think rightly so, but she's positioned uniquely in a way that Trump doesn't seem to drag her like he does Massie. So I guess that's an interesting move on her part. Of course, I'd love her to be more truthful about how, Trump is indistinguishable from the worst excesses of the Democrats in many ways regarding war and spending, and the regulatory state certainly so.
But unless somebody stands up and articulates what this was all about, it's not just about any one person, it's about a set of principles that will save the country, make America great again, then you will see the nature of the movement change completely. I mean, as I sit here right now, Laura Loomer is some kind of informal advisor to the Defense Department wandering around the Pentagon, Laura Loomer, and you, meanwhile, the most consistent defender of these principles in the whole Congress, there's talk of funding a primary challenge to you to knock you out of your job. Like, how does that work? How does Laura Loomer get to be a Pentagon advisor, but you get primaried? Like, what is that?
Well, spoiler, she's Israel First, and whenever there's a question about whether to bomb a country or engage in diplomacy, she says bomb. Just bomb that country. It's classic neocon trope. She won't self-identify as that because the neocon brand is tarnished beyond recognition, but that's what it is. All these people that say, hey, neocons died, they all died, we're not neocons, but maintain the same exact views like Laura Loomer, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, well, you're not fooling anyone. You're a neocon. That's the ideas that you cling to.
I don't know. I've never understood why anyone takes her serious. I mean, this is a woman that can't even legally buy a gun because she has such serious mental problems. She literally posted the other day that she blew blood vessels in her eye as she was hysterically tweeting, like 40 or 50 times in one day. Who listens to a person like that? Like, right. No one should.
Well,
and there's only one cares about, and that's Israel. It's nonstop. Israel non-stop. And that seems to be the overarching theme. And so I get to say when things are going sideways and when they're going wrong, I get to say these things. And that's because my job title is representative. That means I represent the people and nobody else. And you know what? I don't give a shit about Mark Levin or Ted Cruz or whatever, whoever, or somebody named that has the name Turd in their name, or some Israeli spy named Laura Loomer. I don't care about any of these people. They are irrelevant and mean nothing to me. Absolutely. And you want to know something? They are the last people that Americans that worked hard are ever really going to trust and support. And so you asked me, and I'm giving you my honest answer.
Well, man, she was just on a roll there, and I couldn't agree more. The turd she references, a reference to cat turd if you're not on Twitter, but that's pretty funny, man. She is pretty on fire here, and it's great to see. It's great to see the guns ablazing against the Israel first mentality from the right for once. For, you know, so long you couldn't find that. Any semblance of that didn't really exist. I guess you could say it existed in the form of people like Ron Paul and Pat Buchanan, but those two are about the only ones, and they became total pariahs for that mentality. But on the right, this is creating a schism because Americans just can't ignore what's happening. It's too bizarre and counterintuitive of a relationship to have, you know, the U.S.-Israeli alliance take precedent over all domestic concerns to the extent that it sucks us into war. We have to bankroll a genocide in Gaza to the extent we have to give them, you know, something like $25 billion since October 7th. It's just absurd. Americans are starting to see through this. And man, Dave Smith put it right in a recent debate he did on Piers Morgan, where there was a poll that showed a 50-point swing when it comes to being supportive of the Israelis after October 7th. Americans were generally 48 in support of Israel at that time. And then a few weeks ago, it went down to +1 for Palestinians. +1 for the Palestinians, a 50-point swing. You never see that on abortion. You never see that on, you know, economic issues. You never see that on foreign policy in general. That big of a swing, it's just too hard to ignore. And that's why, you know, this is causing a schism on the right. I'm glad to see it. I hope these Israel firsters are just pushed out of all power positions in the future because of how bad these takes will age in the future. So she's right. The Israel first mentality is toxic. It's tarnishing our relationships around the world. It's attracting new enemies. It's an entangling alliance. And it's not America first. It's so bizarre and wrong-headed, and yet no matter who you elect seems to follow that path to a lockstep to prioritize Israel above their own constituencies. And that's not even right to say that, because their constituencies are the Israel lobby. They are the military-industrial complex. They are the banks. They are big tech. They are big pharma. They are big regulatory industry. That's what they are. But I do want to hear from you. Is Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene correct about this? Is the Israel first mentality a toxic one? Is it wrong-headed? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, also subscribe to Tucker. Great interview. I really appreciated this conversation. And if you want a free copy of my book, a digital copy of my first book, Compact of the Republic, The League of States and Constitution, click the link in the description below. It's absolutely free, no obligation. Just click that link and sign up. And if you are interested in my videos, you like this video, please consider becoming a YouTube member. You can do that by clicking the join button below. And if you do that, I'll give you access to all my videos before they go live to the general public on YouTube. And until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.